Hey man, welcome back to Man Time. Today's episode I'm getting ready to tackle cleaning up that gigantic big red oak tree. Today's episode we're going to be working with a couple different tools. Again, I'm starting at the very tips of the branches, getting all that small stuff that isn't really good for anything. Probably setting up a burn pit nearby, and then cutting up all those limbs and small twigs and leaves and all that stuff with these two saws primarily. I've got a couple other saws up at the other place. So it's just going to be the Steel 020 AV and the G111 Holzforma 200T clone. Welcome to Man Time. Alright, so the first step for me, as always, is preparation. I've heard many people say, just at the end of the day, when you get done using your stuff, clean it up, blow it out, whatever. At the end of the day, when I get done cutting, it's questionable that I can barely walk back to the house. You're out there all day, working hard, sweating, Texas, 100 degrees. When I get done working, I'm done working. There's times in the wintertime when it's a little bit cooler and you don't feel so exhausted that I do some of the maintenance, but it's questionable whether the maintenance was done at the end of the last usage of both of these pieces of equipment. So I just do it beforehand. Anyways, that's where I'm going to start. A lot of people might do it the other way. This is just to be safe for me, making sure that my stuff is ready to go for the job. So I basically just take the clutch covers off here, blow them all out, and then fill them up with fluids and make sure they are ready to go. Now, yeah, this was a little bit dirty inside of there. Definitely didn't do the maintenance the last time around on this one. So I'm going to get ready to get dirty here, but this one here, it's I haven't filled it up with bar oil. I'm still a little gun shy there. Last time I did, it just completely leaked out. I think what I'm going to do is fill it up about a quarter of the way with ATF, where that ATF just gets above the oil hose or the oil tube coming from the oil tank to the oil pump, and see if it doesn't start leaking. I'm probably going to start it up, let that ATF kind of run in to the oiler, and then shut it off and let it sit, and then with it untouched, look and see if I can see, because ATF is red, right? So I can see that red leaking out from somewhere and hopefully get an idea of what to fix on it. On the other hand, 020, running fine, oiling great. I mean, the chain is still like lubricated and oily on this one. But yeah, the chain on here, it's still nice and oily. Yeah. Like you can see, the links are still nice and wet. So, again, this one, the only real problem that I've had with the 020 here is carb-related and or fuel delivery. And again, it's got a kind of a janky carb impulse boot system with a little pot metal piece in there. And at one point that got kind of corroded, right? It almost corroded like the passage for, was it the fuel or the impulse? I don't remember. But cleaning out all those orifices on there, I did manage to get it working. I think it was for the impulse. Let me blow this out. Let me blow this one off. Fill it up with ATF. Maybe we'll get lucky and figure out where it's leaking from. And then we can start using these to process up that tree. So I've got ATF in here. I want to see if we can at least get it starting to pump out of there, and then hopefully we can see where it's leaking. I mean, the oil tank on this was bone dry, bone dry. Plenty of fuel. Oh boy, now what? Holy smokes. So, yeah, this is what it was doing to me the last time, and look what we have here. Already. So this was a brand new, let me bring you in here. Yeah, so here is the new impulse fuel line combo that I put on there. Look at there. Already cracked and fallen apart. And this one here, it's hard to see, but there's already cracks forming right along these ribs. I just installed this, man, maybe not even a month ago, but look at how badly it's already starting to crack. And I can see here on the fuel line, it's already starting to crack, and I thought I saw maybe, I mean, there's seepage coming out all around here, right? So again, it could be sucking air as it's trying to deliver fuel. Awesome. I mean, I just did a video on what's wrong with the clone saws, right? And the things that I thought were gonna, you know, show that they were problems ended up like naturally working themselves out. This 200T here again on the bench with a problem. Additionally, you can see here, like, these studs are not long enough to actually engage the, you know, thread lock that is built into the nuts here. You know, there's just small things like this that kind of add up, and the sum of all of the not so great parts are what make it eventually fail. And I think for this, I just took this piece off to be able to get down in here. But yeah, I don't know how well you can see this. I'm going to pull it off of there, obviously, because it's not going to do the job that we need it to do as is. Yeah, so I mean, at the time that this failed the first time, again, I ordered one from Steel. It didn't come right away. I also ordered the oil line because I figured that was kind of right behind this. The Steel stuff does not have that problem. And, you know, here we go, 40-year-old saw. I mean, the fuel line on this one, I think it was stock when I first started working on it. I ended up finding an OEM that was in a little bit better shape to replace it with eventually. But yeah, I cannot believe this is all cracked up and stuff already. Yeah, I mean, I just don't get it. How could it be that bad? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, alright. To get this off, you need to get your filter off the end of the line here. And then once you do that, it's fairly easy to just pop it out of there, pop the new one in, and get it out that way. Alright, so I got my fuel filter off on the inside. And from there, this is a pretty simple job. You just kind of pry up, pry out, and remove here. Yeah, let's bring you in kind of close here. Let's see if we can do this on camera. You gonna work with me, camera? Man, it's dark. I wish I had a little bit better light, but yeah, you can see it's already starting to crack at each of the little ribs here. Right there, right there. And I don't know why. I mean, I don't know if that was the reason it wasn't starting this time, or if it was something different, but yeah, that one is all cracked. Little butterfly valve there, I'll keep that. But yeah, just not a good thing going on with these aftermarket ones. So just as, you know, kind of an FYI here, old one versus new one. Again, Steel versus aftermarket. So the Steel one has this curve in it, this one does not. So just a quick look there. And this one has this little thing here. I think the other one had that too. What is that for? I have no idea. There's a little thing up here And I just don't know. I ended up, like, on the aftermarket one, it had something similar, but it also had this thing. So I mean, this, I guess it can still go in there. Yeah, it still goes in there. And I guess it maybe sits up here. That's probably smart. But the air, I don't know. Anywho, let's get this one in here. I was finally able to get that all kind of jammed in there. Just put a little Vaseline right there. Getting this thing on there is easier said than done for sure. But with a nice little needle nose right there, got it. Okay, so there is everything hooked back up. Again, I don't know exactly where this vent line is supposed to go, but that little one-way duckbill valve on there will secure it good enough. Okay, let's get it back together here and see if it will start up this time. See, this is here again. I mean, especially for the clone saws, I guess, right? Just got done making the what's wrong with the clone saws. Rubber, electronics, carb, and all of those things have reared their head on this one, and they've already started to on the other one. And even some additional with the plastic on that other one, although no damaged plastic on this one yet. So, let's get our filter on here. Filter still A-OK. There we go. Get some gas back in it, and we can finally get to the point where we might be comfortable, using the equipment, right? Yeah, already got ATF bar oil leaking out of it, but it's still having a little trouble starting. Yeah, that ATF is flowing out of there pretty nice, huh? Maybe a little bit too nice for a 16-inch bar. Does this have an adjustable oiler? I don't think it does. But I'm going to blow this off now, pull the clutch off, pull these covers off, and then see if there's any oil leaking out behind here. Alright, I just wanted to show this to you guys. It looks like oil is actually continuing to leak where it's actually supposed to come out of, right? Like I'm wiping this away and it's filling back up. So it looks like there's nothing to stop it from just, see, it's continuing to run. Alright, I'll wipe all this, and then yeah, it's just continuing to run, like out of where the oil pump has pumped it. See, originally I thought it was the oil hose, See, right here. It's just like, it's continuing to ooze out of here, which is where it's supposed to come out of, but only when the oil pump pumps. I don't know why. It's like it's gravity feeding, but gravity, you know, is not playing an active role. That makes sense. Well, I guess I've eliminated, where it's leaking from. So that's one good thing. Now, would an OEM oil pump stop when the pump stops? I don't know. But I do know, see how this is filled back up right now? And this is filling back up? Yeah, it's just steady, like, leaking out of there. So that's what happened. When it completely leaked out, it was getting hotter, 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 more and more pressure in the oil tank, and it just was able to push right past, you know, the pump and just completely leak out of there. So that problem is solved, but not fixed. Alright, I think we got her all fixed up here. Hostforma G111. Again, why this, oh man. It's, this thing has been nothing but problems for me. But there we go. We figured out where and why the oil was leaking. I guess why the oil was leaking was just because it's allowed to flow through the oil pump. If the tank is pressurized in any way, it'll just go to the path of least resistance, which is out, and down the side of the saw. But it does. It does start and run now, right? So I'll be using this as part of my arsenal coming through that tree. Now, on the other hand, we've got a 50-year-old handsaw made by Steel, and it has a little bit of fuel left in it, so we will see. This should be the pre-op. This should be the pre-op for your chainsaw operation, right? Blow the saw off, turn it on, hit the choke on it, make sure it's going to start for you on the day. Clean the air filter out. Clean the air filter out and make sure it's going to oil. It should be that simple. Maybe I'll have a What's Wrong with Clone Saws Part 2. Because that first one was kind of like anticlimactic. Here we actually found two additional problems with this saw. One being the aftermarket fuel line, two being where actually the bar oil is going through and out and onto the ground. So anyways, I am ready for the day's work. I'm going to put the bar and chain back on this one and get ready to cut up some limbs. Why don't you guys get out there, have you some man time too?